So let's say you only have one coping skill, and that is, like I said before, maybe that is listening to music, okay? So let's think of some other things that we can add. One major component to this that is going to help anybody is just taking care of your overall health. So the better you eat, like the healthier you eat, the more sleep you get. Not too much sleep, but if you get a good amount of sleep, 7 to 8 hours a day or night, and exercise. If you're doing those three things, your physical health is going to help your mental health, because your brain is part of your body. So anything that you're going to do physically, and what you put into your body as far as eating and then taking care of yourself and getting enough sleep, those are all going to equip your brain to better handle anxiety. I'm sure you guys have noticed that whenever you're hungry or tired, or you're feeling kind of run down, or maybe you're sick, you're not going to handle your emotions as well. And that's for the simple fact that your brain is part of your body, and when your body is compromised, then your brain is compromised too. So the healthier you can be, the more that's going to help you deal with your emotions. Okay, so that's maybe something you haven't thought of, because your physical health is very closely connected to your mental health. Another thing that might be helpful that I mentioned before was journaling. So write down each day, or maybe each week, or every other day, however often you would need to, how you're feeling and what is going on in your life, how you're handling it. One of the problems that happens with a lot of people is we try the same exact thing over and over, and we get frustrated that it's not working. And we don't necessarily see that pattern because we don't track what we're doing. And it's just kind of hard for us to look back at ourselves and admit that we're making some mistakes, or maybe that we're in an unhealthy pattern. So that's another thing, maybe journaling, because it'll help you be more aware. It might also help you get some of your feelings out on the paper, and then maybe out of your head a little bit. Another thing is developing a support system. So you should be talking to somebody about your stress and anxiety. You shouldn't be handling it completely on your own. Maybe most of the time you're able to be self-sufficient and handle it on your own, but other times it's good for you to talk to a family member, a friend, a counselor, somebody that you trust and that is going to give you good advice, or at least just be there to listen. So that's another thing you can do, is try to develop a support system. If you don't already have it, maybe try to talk to some people that you trust about how you're feeling. A lot of people I know are hesitant to talk about how they're feeling because they see it as weak. But once again, I would tell you, just try to adjust your mindset on a couple of these things. It's not weak for you to talk about your feelings. I mean, it's difficult to talk about your feelings. It's hard to do it. So why would something that's difficult be weak? Usually something that is difficult reflects strength, and that's how I feel about talking about your feelings. Another coping skill that you could try would be practicing appreciating yourself, and practicing loving yourself, and building your own self-esteem. So whenever the things are stressful or they make you anxious, those things are much more likely to stick to you and have an impact on you if you're already feeling bad about yourself, if you're already feeling poorly about yourself maybe that day, or just in general, maybe you just don't feel that great about yourself. So whatever you can do to boost your self-esteem. And part of that is looking at yourself and maybe journaling, or just sitting down and thinking, how do I see myself? And what are my strengths? What are things that I can improve on? And why do I feel the way I do about myself? So here's the thing. A lot of you guys feel that, I don't know about a lot of you guys, but at least some people feel that their value as a human being or as a person is tied to, what they do or what they look like, things like that. And it's really not. Every single person in the world has value just as a person. That's it. You don't need a fancy explanation. You don't need this long, drawn-out explanation for why you have value. You just do, because you're a living human being. And that's why we have hospitals. That's why we have, that one of our main goals of our society is to protect human life because it's such a valuable thing. We do that's why we're all inside right now, is to protect human life because it inherently has value. Everyone recognizes that human life has value. It's just an instinct that you know, because it's just part of life, that you have value because you just do. And if you see it that way, rather than tied to the things that you do or the relationship that you're in or the way you look that day, then your value, you won't see it as wavering, and you will feel maybe more of, I feel good about myself because, at the end of the day, no matter what happened today and no matter who said whatever to me or no matter how I look, I have value as a person. And that's all there is to it. So maybe I don't feel great about myself today, but I know that I have value and I know that I have worth. Because that's the other thing that you have to remember, is that the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you feel about your value, like, do I feel I have worth? Do I feel I have value? And then your actual value are two separate things. So there's how I feel about myself and my actual value. This is always high. Your actual value is always high and extremely valuable. But how you feel about yourself can kind of waver. So just do your best just to remind yourself, I have value, I'm worth it, and yes, I'm anxious about this, yes, I'm stressed about this, but I'm going to be okay. Because that's the other thing. You have to realize that no matter what happens, yes, maybe there will be negative things in your life, and they'll have a negative impact on you, but you have to believe in yourself to be okay at the end of it and to be able to move forward. Because that's the cycle that our brain gets stuck in sometimes, that whenever we feel anxious, we start to think, oh my gosh, what happens if this happens and this happens? And then it just gets in a cycle, and your brain starts to tell you all kinds of things that aren't true. So you got to try to stop, slow down, and sort of break that cycle, and just remember that I'm going to be okay. It'll be all right. I'll figure out a way to move forward. Maybe you don't know what it's going to be, how you're going to move forward right now, but have faith in yourself to figure it out, because you can do it. You really can. Maybe it's going to be really hard and it might be painful, but you have that ability. Your brain is an amazing thing, and you can overcome pretty much anything out there. So have faith in yourself to overcome things, because you guys have already overcome things, so many things, to get to where you are today. So give yourself credit for what you've already overcome and use that to build some confidence in, here's how I'm going to overcome stress and anxiety in the future. All right, so the last part is how to prevent stress and anxiety in the future, and a few things to try on your own. Okay, so how to prevent anxiety and stress in the future. One is, like I said before at the very beginning, if there are just a few things you can avoid, maybe some situations you don't want to put yourself in that normally cause you stress and anxiety, you can try to avoid those situations. Now, if those things are things that you need to do, like if homework is stressing you out and you choose to avoid it, then that's not going to be a healthy coping strategy, like we mentioned before. So if you're going to set yourself up for the future, you really have to try to build some coping skills and make sure they're healthy and effective coping skills. That's pretty much all there is to it. You have to find things that work for you and make sure they're healthy for you right now, and they're also going to better equip you in the long term. Just kind of ask yourself, here's how I'm handling with this. Is it better equipping me in the long term to deal with my stress and anxiety? If it's not, then it's probably something that you don't want to hold on to. You might want to try a different method of handling it. And a few things to try on your own. So one, I've mentioned journaling a couple times, and I know a lot of people do not like writing things down, but I really think it can be helpful. So journal about whatever stress or anxiety you've been experiencing. Ask yourself, what's causing it, and how am I handling it? What are my coping methods? And are they healthy or unhealthy? Are they effective or are they not effective? Just ask yourself those few questions, write it down, and just kind of go from there. Okay? So that's one thing that you can try out if you want. Another thing would be to try out giving your brain a break. So that means just taking 5 to 10 minutes, every day to just sit there and be still. Just try to focus on your breathing and relax. Away from your phone, away from the computer, away from a book, away from anything, just you yourself, just sitting there relaxing. The reason for this is it helps, like I said, it helps you slow down, and this is going to help you practice what to do whenever you feel anxious or stressed. So whenever you feel anxious or stressed, you want to stop, do your best to stop, put the brakes on, slow down, stop your brain from just spinning so quickly out of control. Try to slow down and just sit and relax. And then once you're relaxed, or at least somewhat relaxed, then you can return to, all right, let me try to handle this now. But you're not going to be able to handle things whenever you are spinning out of control, so you have to try to put the brakes on first and just sit and relax, and then try to go after it and try to handle it. So it's great to practice this whenever you're not actually really stressed and really anxious, because it makes it easier for you to accomplish it. It's going to be challenging for you whenever you're really stressed or really anxious to stop and put the brakes on. It's like if the car is moving 60 miles an hour, it's a lot harder to stop than if you're just, cruising along at 15 miles an hour. So try during your normal everyday pace of 15 miles an hour, you're just kind of hanging out around the house anyways. Just try stopping, putting on the brakes, and just sitting there and just relaxing for just 5 to 10 minutes. And this is going to help you get in control of your thoughts, kind of rein in that pace that your brain can often go on, and just learn how to put the brakes on. And this will help you, one, relax in the moment, and it'll also help you relax whenever you start to feel stressed or anxious in the future. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any suggestions for other topics, or if you have more questions about stress and anxiety and how to handle it, feel free to let me know via email or remind, and I will do my best to help you guys out. So I hope you enjoy your spring break. Relax as much as you can, and I miss you guys, and I hope that you're staying safe and healthy. All right, see ya.